welcome to this this theme webinar. This is for proposals in the environmental management group, which is where yours fits. I'm Edward Hibbert, so I'm chairing this. I run an environmental charity in the UK called Freegal, which is to do with giving stuff away and getting stuff for free. So it's a kind of environmental reuse charity in the UK. And I have a geeky technical background. And also here we have Mike Wistow, who's one of the mentors for this festival, who's been involved in local environmental projects, and Terry Mohudin, who's leading on communications for this festival, and who also has experience in environmental issues from working in the energy and the water sectors. So thank you very much for being here. That is already an achievement, right? Because you've already gone through quite a process and quite a lot of preparation to get here. So well done already just at the start. This is just to explain about how the session works. So you'll have about 5 minutes to present your proposal, and then we'll ask you some questions about it, each of us, and then we'll talk about what happens next. Just so that you're aware, we're recording this so that we can share it and you can share it, and then we can have it for reference. So please do feel quite relaxed. We want you to be here, right? We've asked you to be here. And the main purpose of this is for you to tell us about your great idea. So if you want to start presenting that, that would be great.
Yeah, I'd like to present now. Would you please enable host screen sharing? Okay, yeah.
Is that all right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right now. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So hello, everyone. I am Mohammad Raid. And our project, Bottle Economy, is a win for the poor people of Bangladesh and a win for the environment. So in Bangladesh, 85% of the population earn below $5.9, and millions suffer financial, social, and health risks. And with 312 tons of single-use plastics consumed in a single month, our oceans and marine species are in a great danger. So the solution would be to provide the poor community with extra earning opportunities and to provide them with such scopes where they can utilize locally available resources using a convenient method. And most importantly, create a recycling mentality through making them realize that this garbage waste is worth of some value. In our model, USSD plays a key part, which is a communication protocol of mobile companies where users can interact with the system by putting codes or simple numbers. So this system will provide an efficient way to establish communication at a local level, as well as provide a unique software interface to the recycling companies through which they can monitor and coordinate recycling activities. So what's unique in the project is that the scope of the project lies in both the urban and rural areas. And we are targeting this 78 and 22% waste for this project. And most of the time, our concern remains with improving the condition of the poor residing in the rural areas. We often miss to plan out projects concerning the urban poor. Hence, our focus remains with both areas with a goal to create a development in general. Next is a human-centered design. Means that it's a system built focusing on a technology in which the community is familiar with. In Bangladesh, about 160 million people use USSD to check their mobile balances and transfer mobile money. And it doesn't require expensive data packs or smartphones. So it will be a simple yet easy way of establishing communication among the scavengers, local shopkeepers, and us, the administrators. So when coming to the existing market, this sector is already generating $250 million in revenue and employing 1.2 million people. So just think that how many more people can get benefited from this when we will ensure recycling of the remaining part. So we are creating a system where people can earn extra as well as contribute in building a greener world. In this model, we generate revenue by taking a small percentage from the recycling companies based on the waste collection amount. And this is the progress of our pre-test phase so far. And we believe this will help us to understand the mindset that is existing among the general mass regarding the concept of waste recycling. And you can see that it started out small, but in just 4 days, we have received a very good number of response from the local people. So our plan is completely in alignment with the SDGs, and our mission is to build a sustainable world. In fact, in 2 years from now, we see our team touching 500,000 lives and reduce the pollution by 10% at least by implementing this project. So I'd like to conclude by asking you a simple question. Are we doing enough to build a sustainable world? If not, then why not start today? We wholeheartedly welcome you to join our initiative, Project Bottle Economy, and our team, Green Beans. So thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much. And I'm deeply impressed that you were precisely 5 minutes in your presentation. That's very unusual. So we'll ask you a few questions now. I'll start off. So for you personally, and this probably doesn't just apply to you, Mohammed, but also to other members of your team, what is it personally that makes you care so much about this specific idea? What makes it important to you?
So actually what's important to us is during this pandemic, all of the industries are closed and the economic system is disrupted. So what we have thought and what we have found in our research is that what will we do if this situation arises next? Like in Bangladesh, we often have like New Year once, we have such political unrest during elections and other problems. And if these things occur, so what options do we have that we can utilize this locally available resources and organize this in such a way that these poor communities who suffer very much can benefit from this? And within this process, how can we benefit the environment as well?
Okay. And before I hand over to somebody else, can I just ask a technical question about USSD codes? Do you need mobile provider agreement to set up those codes?
Yes, we need to submit a request. We have already talked with our alumni, who are working with telecom companies, and they said that they will tag us with their policy groups. And in Bangladesh, if we want to implement USSD code, then we need to contact and come to an agreement with the BTRC, that is the Telecom Regulatory Commission of Bangladesh, who provides approval for the USSD systems.
Okay, and is that just a one-way communication or is it two-way communication?
So actually at local level, we are using USSD since poor people do not have such improved devices. So with the local shopkeepers and the scavengers, that is the poor people, will use USSD. So ultimately the data will be integrated into the mobile company, telecom company systems, and which will be projected and integrated into a software for the recycling companies, where they can monitor and see that what's the progress of waste collection and if it's enough to send a pickup request.
Okay, thank you. I'll pass over to Mike just now for another question. Mike, don't forget to unmute yourself.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yep. Okay. I guess if I can build on a couple of the slides that you kind of came towards the end of your presentation with, which is you showed us the chart that showed how it was improving over the 4 days, and you talked about how you were hoping to reduce pollution and you were hoping to improve lives. So if I said to you, just expand on that a bit, what do you see as the top 3 outcomes that would come out of this idea being implemented? What would you say to us? Because you've obviously done some thinking about this already.
So if I may add.
Yeah.
So our plan is we have mainly 2 goals right now. The number 1 is that the locality has this inherent attitude towards not inclined with the waste management system. So we want to build that attitude among them that will be a social impact, which will help them improve the mentality of waste collection. And by giving them some small incentive, it will probably be a big impact in their life. And also it will create, as Mohammed Raid said, that it will create an extra earning scope for them, since we have hit the pandemic in a very adverse way this year. So if we face something like this in the future, we will be prepared beforehand. And it will be a solution for them that they can earn some extra money. It will not be a livelihood, but there will be a scope for earning extra money from this. So this will be the top 2 outcomes. And also the impact that it will bring on the environment, it will be definitely impactful. So these are the top 3 outcomes that we are hoping to gain from this bottle economy.
Well, I would like to add to that, that our long-term impact is another, we are focusing to build Actually, we are focusing to replace plastics, and plastic is really cheap in Bangladesh, and I guess it's all over the world. It's very cheap and very, so we'd like to build a system which will improve their mentality and first make them understand that this thing, plastic, is harmful for the environment, and then slowly introduce them with sustainable products like paper packaging or other alternatives that are available. So to do that, first we need to give them this conscience that this plastic is harmful for our environment.
That's I can step in there. That's a really good observation, Mohammed. And can I just ask you to stop sharing the screen, because then we can just see each other. The next bit.
Okay.
Excellent,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank
But it does strike me as well that you've thought through this whole project, both of you and anybody else involved, very thoroughly in terms of practical implications. And that point you just made there, I was just curious as to the actual education element. Have you thought about that in terms of you can't just land something on people as a process? Need to engage them perhaps in why they should bother?
Yeah, so actually that's an interesting question. So we have partnered with local volunteering communities. If you see the proposal page, and we have also attached a proposal in the comments. So we have partnered with them, local volunteering communities in which we are also engaged with, that is the IEEE community. So we have student chapters all over Bangladesh in almost all universities of Bangladesh. So we will use these resources and partner with them to provide education about recycling. So as the poor community, they think that the plastic recycling is for rich people. It's actually a luxury. So we need to actually inspire them with providing small incentives. So this is what our model first focuses. And then gradually we'll start this training processes and educate them about the plastic pollution and its impact.
Right, that makes sense. And also you mentioned yourself about really glad to hear that you had a testing phase. So you've actually gone out there and put it in front of people. And I was going to ask as well, though, did you talk to people beforehand to get their views on how willing they would be to take part in something like this? Because do you trust people to do everything?
Well, initially they didn't understand the concept, but so we actually initiated this pre-test phase. This is not a pilot phase. This is the pre-test phase. We're calling this pre-test phase because it's the initial process before the beginning of the pilot phase. So we have conducted around 10 shops in 3 districts of Bangladesh. That is one in Dinajpur, which is my hometown. I have instructed my friends over there, volunteer friends, and one in Dhaka, which is nearby Dhaka, which is the Bhatara, which is actually a slum area. So we have initiated this, and initially they didn't actually show that much interest, but when we talked about these incentives and showing them that if you collect this 5 bottles, you are getting 5 taka, or you are getting, if you are giving 20 bottles, then you are getting this amount of money. So you know,
really
there's people in 6, if you Google now that how many beggars are there in Bangladesh, so you would get a Google result instantly that 600,000 beggars in Bangladesh. So we are also trying to change that as well. So if they are not getting job opportunities, use these opportunities, use this locally available waste to get some money out of it.
Can I ask, have you thought about whether there's any scope for fraud in this system?
Well, actually, not really. Not we have because we are planning to initialize this pilot phase to identify this problem. So in 3 months of our pilot phase, this is mainly a research program. Research focused programs where we will hire field level experts to collect data and find those loopholes. So we are currently doing this at a very minimum level, so we won't be getting enough information to generate such results. So after the pilot phase, we hope that we will get those finite instructions that what we need to do, that if something comes forward like this problems, frauds or.
Okay. And have you thought about how existing recycling companies in Bangladesh might react to your project? So let's suppose that your project takes off and starts to become really successful and effectively starts to damage their business. How will they react to that?
So
the people who are already collecting.
Yeah. So actually, we did contact with an existing company, which is Garbage Man in Dhaka, Bangladesh. They are actually led by an NSU, by an alumni from our university. So their main focus is waste management. So all the existing companies that we have in our country right now are focused solely in waste management. But our focus is not just waste management. We want to improve the quality of life or just give an extra earning scope to the poor people, right? So we have talked with him and he said that it is a great concept that we are going forward with. So I think the waste management companies will come forward with the recycling programs they have, because our plan does not include recycling on our own. So our plan is to reach out and create a connection, create a bridge among all the partners, and we will work as the administrator. So that is our plan. So hopefully it won't be a problem with them.
I would like to add to that point that Garbage Man project, Garbage Man's venture, is a YY Goshti funded startup in which Dr. Muhammad Yunus, the Nobel laureate, is associated with. So we are also applying for funding to that as well. We have applied to that in this incubation program, YY Goshti. And so what they are particularly working is on improving the waste management system of the corporate businesses. So their target is only the businesses associated and collects waste from the urban areas. So this concept that waste collection from the poor and providing them incentives is a totally new concept in the context of Bangladesh.
Okay, can I just chip in? I'm really impressed by the data that you've shown us so far, and in terms of how you're using that as kind of the assessment of ongoing effectiveness, whether that's kind of fraud and the way you're now talking in terms of impact, in terms of, you know, whether that's corporate stuff, whether that's the education things and so forth. So you've clearly done a lot of thinking about how you're going to assess the effectiveness to date. What would you put in place, or what are you putting in place, so that you've got ongoing assessment of the effectiveness and the impact?
So actually, for the pre-test phase, we have
you've frozen
we have
slightly.
actually involved the volunteers to get this data.
Mohammed, you're freezing
Hello?
slightly,
Can you
so
hear me?
just stay still to reduce the video load, and repeat your answer, please.
Yeah, the question was, what are you looking to put in place on an ongoing basis, so that you keep on top of how effective you're being? Because what you've described is very good. So what are you looking to put in place going forwards? And I'm afraid you froze, so I missed everything you said.
So actually, we are trying to involve the volunteering community, because at the pilot stage, it will not be possible to reach out to everyone with promotional materials. And Bangladesh is such a country where there is diverse culture in all over the Bangladesh. So the people is unique, each culture, each community is unique in their own way. So in terms of promotions and reaching out to them, we have to actually think of some new ways, like playing sounds when they're calling to a number. Like we have this thing like Corona helpline and this Corona news, that whenever we try to call someone, a sound plays that you can dial this number 333 to get help for related to coronavirus. Because we need to think of these initiatives for in terms of promotion, because not all the people are equipped with they have television sets or have access to internet. So those in terms of promotion are not going to be very effective. So in terms of promotion, we are focusing on these criteria, like miking in the localities and involving the mobile companies. And to reach out to them in person, we are actually depending on the local volunteers. And for the pilot phase, we are planning to employ field level experts, and also with the local government, because they are the persons that is the union chairmen and district councillors who are actually involved, can get involved within the process and affect them and actually reach out to them.
So that's a very comprehensive answer in terms of how you're planning to implement and engage everybody. But I think also Mike's question was related to how will you measure the success of what you're doing, the impact in terms of sustaining it. You've got your 2-year vision. How will you know you've got there?
So actually, in the pilot phase, we'll just measure. We have chose the site that is the Mouladi Upazila of Borishal, that is which is near to the coastal area and the river port. So we will actually measure that how much waste is less dumped in our pilot progress. That we'll measure first that what's the daily amount of waste that's being dumped in the riverside and used as landfills. And then with this pilot program, we'll measure that what's the amount that we have successfully reduced within this process. And also, and of course, USSD, that all the data will be stored in the telecom company data centers, that how many people have contacted through the USSD to the shopkeepers and what amount of transactions have been done. So collecting this data and this feedbacks from this, and if you see our detailed plan, work plan into the proposal attached we have, you could find these projects in more detail. So in terms of measuring impact, first we'll take the inputs, their inputs, and then the initial measurement, and after the final measurement, that gap will generate a chart that will tell us that how many people we have impacted in this 3 months or within 2 years, if we say that in mid-level goal.
Okay.
If I may add, sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
just a small addition that our plan is to conduct an extensive study, extensive research with the existing data we have. Luckily, in the union or in the district level, the data is there. So our plan is to compare with those data so that we can generate a successful implementation of the project.
Okay, so this is a fascinating project and we could talk about this for hours, right? But we can't talk about this for hours because we have a bunch of people to go through. But you've given us a lot of interesting things to think about and you've presented your material very well, I think. So what we will do is we will make some decisions hopefully by the end of this week, and then we will get back to everybody about the next phase. But I did just want to say thank you. This is a fascinating area, and it looks like you've put a lot of effort and thought and preparation into your proposal. So thank you very much for sharing that with us.
So I would like to thank you all, and especially Terry ma'am. And I really found your challenge briefing very useful, how to communicate ideas. And I'd also like to thank other mentors, Miss Nicole Botter and Miss Sir Chris Todd Hunter, and also you, Mike, sir. You have provided constructive feedbacks on our proposal pages, and also you, Edward Hibbert, sir. We have heard about Friggle prior to our meeting, that we have also Googled that what's Friggle and how it's creating sustainable goals.
I love it.
I
love it. I love it. You've done your research. Just one final question. One final thing I did want to say is, how long did it take you to develop this proposal from scratch?
Well, actually, we had an initial idea before this. Before we came to know that about this initiative, Festival for Change. But all of these initiatives, this Festival for Change of initiative has actually driven us through in the completion process. And during this process, we have generated such results, and we by ourselves are amazed that the proposal is in almost a complete phase. And I would like to thank you, Economic Pluralism, for that initiating.
I will pass on your thanks to Henry and Nicolette and Chris as well. Thank you all.
Thank you
so much.
A very quick and final word from me. You'll now understand why I didn't respond to your comments on LinkedIn, because I knew I was going to be on this panel, so I didn't want to influence any.
I didn't know that earlier.
I wasn't ignoring you. So.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
fine.
You will get some.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Thank you very much. We'll be in touch.
Thank you for this. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.